My name is Eva Literatures. I am a lecturer in the Department of Cultural Studies and Comparative Literature. And I am from Slovakia, and I got my PhD in this department. And I've been here since 1996.
Could you tell us what it was like back in Bratislava?
I liked it. I got my high school. I finished my high school there. I was born there. I still have my family there. And it was very interesting growing up. I was in 7th grade when '89 happened. And so it was very interesting remembering being a pioneer and having to do all sorts of things that I didn't believe in. And then when '89 came, in '92 I was a freshman in high school, and I could learn English, and I had American volunteer professors who taught me English. So I liked it, and I always knew that I wanted to work with literature and with the English language, so I think it prepared me well.
How is America depicted in Slovakia?
I think it really depends on whom you ask. Some people really like to pretend that they're American, that they are into the same fashion, the same music, the same restaurants, the same movies, mostly the younger generation. There was a lot of backlash against the war on Iraq. That's when most European countries, including Slovakia, were not very happy with America. But in general, just like here, when you want to say that something is of high quality, you say it's European.
Mm-hmm.
In Slovakia, when you want to say something is very desirable, you say it's like American, or it's American style, or American craftsmanship, or whatever. So most people still would like to at least travel to America. So I think it's mostly positive.
Do you think the perspective has changed over time?
Oh, of course. I think in '68, for instance, when I talked to my parents, America was seen as the possible savior of Czechoslovakia. When the Russians invaded, everyone wanted to have the Americans do something, and everyone was, freedom of opinion and freedom of press and all of that stuff was an ideal that everyone wanted, and America was the biggest representation of that. So I think it's kind of going in waves. Sometimes it's very positive, then it's negative. I think with the election of Obama, it became more positive again, and now everyone's just depressed because of the economy, because it's bad everywhere.
Mm-hmm. What made you want to move to America?
I wanted to go to college in America, and I didn't know how to go about it because this was '96, and there were, compared to today, there were no resources to even do the test of English as a foreign language. I had to do a lot of research to even find the tiny little room in the back of some old building to go make the test. But I had some professors who were American at the high school who knew of some schools that concentrated on getting some foreign students in and gave them some scholarships. So I applied to some, and the one that gave me the biggest scholarship was in Iowa. So I went there, and I got my BA there in 3 years, and then I came here.
Mm-hmm. Why did you want to go to college in America?
I wanted to get better at English. I really got into American literature. I wanted to get away from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to move somewhere and start something on my own.
Mm-hmm. What expectations did you have?
I didn't know what expectations to have because Bratislava is a city of 500,000, and I went to a town of 4,000 in the middle of cornfields. So I really didn't know what to expect. I was hoping that I would have more resources to study literature, which I did. Huge library and people who had PhDs in American literature. So that was one hope. And I also minored in music, and I've been singing and playing piano since I was 5, and so that was my other hope, that I could continue with music. And I did. I joined a choir. They had a very good choir that toured a lot, and I continued with piano. So.
What do you do now, career-wise, and what are you involved in? Was it your intention when you first came here, or did your ideas or dreams change?
Well, what I do now is I'm a lecturer in cultural studies and comparative literature, and I am actively looking for tenure track professorships anywhere in the world. I'm not picky, but this is my 3rd year on the job market, and it's really bad. It's getting worse and worse. Fewer jobs out there. So I'm either looking for a professorship in Slavic studies or comparative literature or Germanic studies. And I teach here, and I enjoy doing that, and I publish. And I am translating a novel from Slovak to English, which is about 2/3 done. And I didn't know what I was going to do years and years ahead, but when I was coming here, I knew that I wanted to get at least a BA and maybe a higher degree. And so when I got my BA in Iowa, my advisor really encouraged me to get into comparative literature because I speak several languages. And that's what I did, and I applied to about 6 schools, and this one was the best, professor-wise and money-wise. I didn't know when I was in high school that I was going to get a PhD, but once I came here, I knew that I didn't want to just end at a master's. I wanted to do a PhD. I didn't know that I was going to get married, and I didn't plan on getting married here. Like, that was not my goal. But I ended up meeting my husband in 2007, and he's American, and we dated for 3.5 years, and then we got married. We just had our 1-year anniversary. And he's learning Slovak, and he's been to Slovakia 4 or 5 times. So I don't know. I would love to go back, but the economic situation has to definitely change before I can do that, because the pay for a professor in Slovakia is the same as a bank teller, and I invested a lot of time and effort, and I want to make sure I can live on my education. So.
Do you find it challenging being married to an American who might not understand your culture fully?
Sometimes, but he's really well traveled. He speaks French, and he spent a lot of time in France and Italy, and then also Poland before we met, and he did 2 long trips to India. So I think he was really open to international, to people from all over the world before. I think some of the challenges we have are not so much because of him being American and me being Slovak, but they're more, his family has a very different relationship to him than my family to me. So for instance, he, initially when we started dating, I would be talking to my parents or my sister at least once a week, sometimes more, and he really found that weird, because he won't talk to his brothers, and he will only talk to his mom every once in a while. So, in terms of American, there's some certain eating habits that are very different in America from Slovakia. This idea that eating is a formal thing, and you have silverware, and right hand has the knife and left hand has the fork, and first comes the soup, and the lunch is the big meal, not dinner. All of these things are very different with him. When my parents made him dinner, or when I made